next one, it comes from episode 352 of the Beer and Brewing Podcast, where they interviewed Chris Loring of Notch Brewing. Also, thank you for all the live listeners, podcast listeners, as I kind of repeat some of these because, they do get clipped. So I appreciate your patience with my intros. They interviewed Chris Loring of Notch Brewing. He discusses in this podcast making darker lagers, dark Czech lager, and notes that he never puts his roasted malts in the mash, but rather the lauter for these beers. And they never decoct the mash that has roast malt in it. Interesting. So sometimes you might hear some of these things talked about. Sometimes you hear about capping your mash. I remember back in the homebrew days, I heard of conducting your mash, and then like on the batch sparge or whatever, like, sprinkling the dark malt over the top, maybe as you recirculate or what have you, right? Some things you can do after getting conversion with your mash. And he's utilizing this. Now, there's two differences. So he has a mash tun and a lauter tun. Some people have a mash / lauter tun. So he's saying that he never mashes in those roasted malts because when he's making those darker lagers, he's not using dehusked. He is using husked roasted malts. But he will wait until he gets to sparge, and so he'll cap that lauter bed with the dark malt and then sparge on top of that. And that'll help to reduce not going through that full mashing process. Will help reduce that tannin extraction. You'll still get some light flavor and you'll still get some color, but you won't be pulling those harsh tannins out, especially if you're pulling a decoction and you're pulling like a roasted malt that you put in the mash into the kettle and boiling that can really amp up that tannic bitter harshness that you can pull from those. So that was one thing that I loved out of that. It was kind of just a little snippet, but I thought it was a cool one. And even if you're not in a situation where you're making those beers, that's just all good stuff to store away in the back of your mind. So you should check out episode 352 with Chris Loring of Notch Brewing. Great stuff. I would love to try some of those beers. Yeah, let me know if you're out there and you've had those beers and what you think about them. It sounds like they have some really cool traditional stuff going on there. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're going to maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.